Hi there, welcome to our honours information session. Today we'll tell you about honours and things that are important for you to know when you think about whether you might want to study honours, and we'll have some presentations and then an opportunity for you to ask questions and get some answers at the end of the session. Let me introduce myself. My name is Richard Rayner and I'm the Deputy Dean Education in the Faculty of Science. Also joining us today we'll have Julie Clutterbuck from the School of Mathematics. Julie is the honours coordinator in the school and will be able to tell you about things that the process that happens within the school if you're an honours student. We also have Angela Sullivan. Angela handles all the applications for honours and the administration for students studying honours, and will also be able to answer questions for you. Then we also have a couple of students presenting today. So Matilda from Mathematics and Sophie from Earth Sciences are able to tell you about their own experience as students and what they've learned from honours and why they think you might be interested in doing the same. And again, you'll be able to ask them questions about what it's like to study honours. But what is it, honours, I'm sure you've heard of and you might have a reasonably good idea already, but let me just explain what's involved with honours and what its purpose is. So within the Faculty of Science, you would study honours as either a separate course to the Bachelor of Science, meaning that you complete your 3-year bachelor's and then you take an extra year of honours as the 4th year for most of you, although if you're part-time, of course, it may be at some later stage. And it is actually a separate degree. So you would have a Bachelor of Science and then separately a Bachelor of Science with honours. Or you can take honours as part of a 4-year science course that you started at the beginning. An example of that would be the Bachelor of Science Advanced Research with honours or the Global Challenges with honours program. So they were 4 years duration from the very beginning. Most likely, I'm sorry, I've got a bit of a cold. Most likely you will be thinking about honours as that optional 4th year within a Bachelor of Science, whether it's a single degree or a double degree. So honours is an extra year. As I said, for most of you it would be a 4th year, and it's offered in an area of study that is listed in the undergraduate handbook, but essentially with all the range of all the different majors and extended majors that are offered throughout the faculty. So you can think of it as being honours as in a particular specialisation. You can do it cross-disciplinary, meaning that it might be an honours project that's a combination of 2 different schools, biology and chemistry, for example. Most commonly, it would be within a single school within the faculty. We have 5 schools, so that you choose an honours project within the school that aligns with your area of interest. Studying honours varies a little bit with your discipline, but the same basic structure applies. You have some coursework. Depending on your discipline, the coursework might be specific to the discipline, such as in the School of Mathematics, or it might be relevant in the areas of general project management, writing skills, and project preparation, for example, that don't really matter on your discipline, and that all students doing different honours projects will do the same coursework. That coursework is a relatively small component of honours in general, because the major component is your research project. And again, depending on the discipline, it might be a half or even 3/4 of the time you spend during your honours, but it's always at least 1/3. And you will see that in the weightings of the 2 honours units that you undertake in terms of their credit point value. So you do those 2 units together, coursework and research project, and collectively they form your honours year. Honours is nearly always a full-time year. You can start at the beginning of the year or you can start in the middle of the year, but either way, as long as the project that you've selected is compatible and the supervisor is willing to consider you for a mid-year start, either way the project that you go through and the process that you go through is essentially the same. So why would you do honours? Well, one of the factors of honours is that it is a higher qualification, and in that sense it increases your employability. But more particularly, honours gives you skills that are very difficult to develop within a non-research project type setting. In particular, because you work alone on your project under close supervision of an academic supervisor, you have the opportunity to develop some really important discipline-specific skills, but also some really important transferable skills, such as project management in particular, planning your time, anticipating and overcoming obstacles, and writing up a piece of work as a single integrated project. And these are highly desirable for many employers because they're relevant in the workplace. The other thing is, being a higher qualification, it means that it gives you a competitive advantage over a straight bachelor's student. All other things being equal in terms of your background, generally speaking, an employer will prefer an honours graduate to a non-honours graduate because they've demonstrated that additional capacity. The other more discipline-specific reason for doing honours is that you learn a lot about your area of study. Depending on your research project, it might be field-based, it might be laboratory-based, it might be desktop or computational. You will get an advanced and deep understanding of a particular area of science. You have a great deal of ownership of that, in the sense that you develop and test your research questions, you set up your experimental approach, you spend your time collecting data or running through analysis, and ultimately write a thesis at the end of it, which ties together all the work that you did during honours in a single document. And all of those skills both increase your discipline-specific knowledge, but also your more transferable skills that you can talk about in any sort of workplace. Honours is also the pathway for postgraduate studies. So in Australia, honours, or its equivalent, is the requirement for entry into a PhD program. Not very many students go from honours directly into a PhD, but it is the pathway that makes that possible should you decide to do so in a subsequent year. It also, of course, sets you up for other postgraduate studies, such as masters, if you were interested in doing that. The qualification of honours can be taken overseas, and again, it indicates that you have a higher level of training than a straight bachelor's degree. Not many people undertake PhDs, so you might think to yourself, well, if honours is a research training, then, and I don't plan to go into a PhD, then why would I do it? But the important thing to remember is that that research training comes alongside a lot of other transferable skills that are highly relevant in just about any employment setting. So even though the honours year itself largely focuses on a research project, it doesn't mean that it's only useful if you continue with research. And as I mentioned before, most honours students don't go into a PhD, but they use the skills that they learned along the way. Honours is a very challenging year. Things go wrong, they nearly always do, but it means that you develop the skills to overcome them, and you get a great deal of pride and ownership in the project that you undertake. It's challenging, but you get support from your supervisors, from your cohort of honours students around you, and ultimately then is a very rewarding and fun experience. That's it from me. We'll hand over now to some other presentations, and then you'll have an opportunity to ask questions. Thanks, everyone.